Mic check. Okay. And we are live. So welcome to practice. This is round 10 at North Wilkesboro of the Apollo Advanced Legends League. Season 7. We've got Travi Edwards on sitting in P1. We got Scott T. Petro sitting in P2. Scott Gray in P3. Sean Patchen in P4 on his out lap, it looks like. Or it's telling you that he's out. No, he's on his out lap. There we go. Brian Wright and Fish in P6. We'll be back with you shortly. All right, mic check, mic check. Do we still have that echo? Mic check. boys. Out on track, we've got Scott T. Petrone that we're on board with. Travis Edwards is on track as well, holding down P2. Todd Byer on track as well. And sitting P3, Scott Correa is in the pits. Sitting P4, Sean Patchen also in the pits. Sitting P5, Brian Wright is in the pits as well. Sitting P6, we got Fish and Eric Sellers out on track, though I don't suspect that Sellers will be sitting in P8 for very long. Alright, boys. We have 3 minutes left of practice. We got Scott T. Petrone sitting P1 in the pits. We've got Todd Byer in P2 still throwing down laps. Eric Sellers in P3. Travis Edwards is the next man chilling in the pits. He is sitting in P4. Scott Correa in P5 is out on track. Sean Patchen is out on track in P6. Brian Wright's still laying down laps. He's sitting P7. Fish, who we were just on board with, is in P7. Brian Wright in P8. Keegan is in P9, but I believe he just joined the session. Don't expect him to sit down there very long. And then we got Hugh in 10th, Greg in 11th, and Harry holding the back down in 12th. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go, boys. Okay, boys, this is Season 7, Round 10 at North Wilkesboro of the Apollo Advanced Legends Series. 30 seconds left to go. And we've got Scott T. Petrone holding down the lead. Todd Byer behind him in second. Eric Sellers in third. Travis Edwards in fourth. Keegan Sobolo is up to P5. Scott Correa in P6. Sean Patchen in P7. Fish is holding down P8, Brian Wright in P9, Hugh Escobar P10, Greg Langford P11, and I'm not going to butcher your name, Harry. We're just going to leave that one alone. Harry's in P12. All right, welcome to qualifying. We are on board. Is it qualifying? Thought I just saw a second car there for a minute. No, we are in qualifying. We are on board with Greg Langford. And now we're on board with Todd Byer. Gotta love this camera. I should fix that eventually. All right, Greg threw down a 21.97 and was on provisional pole until popped off by Scott T. Petrone, and Hugh Escobar snuggled in between them in P2. But Eric Sellers takes the top from there. Ooh, Scotty Petrone on his next lap pops right back above him. Travis Edwards pops up to P2, throwing down a 21.67. We are still on board with Eric. I think he's got one lap left, maybe, possibly. Probably not. Todd puts it on pole, the 21.3. Nice lap totals. But we are on board with Keegan. He could easily challenge for this pole. Oh, we're no longer on board with him. All right, we are on board with Sean Patchen on his second lap, I believe, if we can believe our tracker. All right, Keegan hits P2, can't quite snatch the pole up, so it looks like we've got Todd Byer, then Keegan Sobolo, Scott T. Petrone round off our top three, Eric Sellers in P4, Greg Langford holds down P5, we got Fish in P6, Travis Edwards in P7, Brian Wright in P8, P9 is Sean Patchen, Q Escobar in P10, and Harry's in P11. Scott Correa did not join us once more. Let's get ready for our heats, boys.
We're headed back to one of the most legendary battlegrounds in our track racing, North Wilkesboro. And make no mistake, this one's just got a whole lot bigger. It's week 10 out of 12. The clock is ticking. The margin of error, gone. At the top of the standing, Scott Petrone holds a 10-point lead over Mr. Eric Sellers. It's not comfortable. It's not safe. And at a place like Wilkesboro, it can disappear in a heartbeat. This track doesn't care about points. It doesn't care about momentum. And it doesn't care who you are. It's narrow. It's rough. It's unforgiving. Miss your line by an inch, you're in the wall. Give an inch, you might not get it back. Petrone's trying to hold the line. Sellers is hunting him down. And the rest of the field, well, they're just trying to shake everything up. Because this is where the season could change. This is where pressure turns into mistakes or greatness. So the question is simple. Who's taking control? With just 2 weeks to go. Who cracks under the pressure? And who leaves North Wilkesboro with their name stamped on the championship fight? Because tonight, it's not just about winning. It's about surviving Wilkesboro. So let's strap in, let's get ready, and let's go racing.
All right. That was our Apollo Advanced Legends admin, Travis Edwards, with a great starting speech for the race. Get ready for Heat 1. Guys, welcome to Heat 1. Todd Byer is forgetting that he has to grid. We got him on pole, Scotty Petrone right behind him in second, Greg Langford in third, Travis Edwards in P4, Sean Patchen in P5, and Harry holds down P6. Todd is going to the kitchen to go get his gloves. You have 1 minute to get those gloves, Todd. right, Todd has made it to the grid. He has retrieved his gloves. That was, I think, the slowest starting pace car I've ever seen. I wonder if it's going to do that all night. By that, I mean it's probably going to do that all night. All right, and we are finally off.
Green, green, green.
Welcome to Heat 1, boys. And Greg goes around. Let's see if we can... Oh, there we go. Camera moved for us. We are on board with Travis Edwards in P3. And Todd must have lost it a little bit there. Scott T. Petrone just snags that inside line. Or it's just Todd being Todd and running that high line. His teammate thinks about gets behind him. He gets behind him. Travis is looking to tuck in. The second that Toddles makes a move. Maybe not. This is a hell of a battle for the top three. Oh, and Travis loses the back end, collects Sean, and there goes their qualifying spot. Sean gets it whipped back around. Nice. Sean is currently apologizing for messing up the setup of the race. All right, but we are back to the battle for the lead. We have Scott T. Petrone pulling up on the outside of Todd Byer now. And Todd must have lost it just a little bit, gave plenty of room to Scott. All right, we are on our last lap. Scott T. Petrone looks like he's got this one pretty much buttoned down. We've got Todd Byer behind him. Harry picks up a P3 with Sean Patches, Travis Edwards, and Greg following behind. All right, boys, welcome to Heat 2. We've got Keegan Sobolo in P1, Eric Sellers in P2, Fish in P3, Brian Wright in P4, Hugh Escobar in P5, and Scott Correa in P6. What on earth is Brian Wright driving? God, I hope that came to the game chat, or the game audio. All right, the pace car is off. The field is in the hands of Keegan Sobolo. He's taking his sweet time to take off here. And he hits it.
Green, green, green.
And he takes a healthy lead going into turn 3. Oh, Sellers gets turned around. That puts Fish up into P2, Hugh Escobar's up into P3, and Scott Correa up into P4. And Keegan goes around. So we got Fish taking over the lead. Hugh Escobar is looking for a great starting spot for the feature. Scott Correa in P3, then Brian Wright and Eric Sellers. Followed by Keegan pulling up the rear now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he could maybe make it back. I didn't see if he went into the pits after that. Looks like he's still on track. Ooh, Hugh, he's getting a little close to the wall, hitting the throttle a little too early, too hard. And there goes Hugh, couldn't hold on. Out of P2 comes Hugh. All right, so Fish is still leading this race. Brian Wright is in P2, Scott Correa in P3. Eric Sellers is up to 4th after that lap 1 incident. Oh, actually, you might be in front of him. We're not back there, and our tracker is not showing, so they're not trustworthy, I should say. Yeah, so we got Sellers in front of Hugh for sure. Ooh, we got wiggles out of Brian right now in P2. And Brian Wright pulls to the inside. He is taking a look on the last lap. Can he pull it off? Oh, looks like Fish actually held him off. That was a hell of a finish, boys. Let's go. We get Fish, Brian, Scott, Eric Sellers, Hugh Escobar, followed by Keegan Sobolo. Let's get ready for Heat 3, boys. I apologize, boys. We do not have a Heat 3. We had kind of a smaller turnout than normal tonight. So we are at the Sean Pissin Patchin Urination Break. All right, boys, we are ready for our feature race. This is 50 laps at North Wilkesboro. This is round 10, season 7 of the Apollo Advanced Legends Series. We have Scott Correa on the pole with our 6-car invert. We've got Harry in P2, Brian Wright in P3, Todd Byer in P4, Fish in P5, Scott T. Petrone in P6, Sean Patchen in 7th, Eric Sellers in P8, Travis Edwards P9, Hugh Escobar in P10, Greg Langford in P11, and Keegan Sobolo starts at the back of the pack. Watch for that boy to make it to the front relatively quickly. All right, Scott Correa, who normally bows out of the feature, is praying for his life right now. Oh, he did bow. No, he didn't. There we go. He's still in. He is praying for his life right now as the pace car is taking them around on their parade laps. All right, our pace car has pulled off. Scott just counted down his start. Who does that? All right, we are on board with Fish as he is battling for P6. Oh, getting a little wiggly. Sean is on the inside of Hugh Escobar. And Scott Correa is sideways. Fish is sideways. We have the yellow out. It sounds like there was some contact in between Sean and Hugh at the yellow. An accidental incident, but it looks like they're both still running. And Hugh is in the pits as well as Fish. All right, so it happened off camera, but apparently Sean steamrolled the man. Maybe not. One day we'll have replays. All right, so we are on lap 4 under yellow. We got Brian Wright in the lead, Harry in P2, Scott T. Petrone in P3, Todd Byer in P4, Eric Sellers in P5. Not sure if Sean is going to take an EOL. There was talk of it, but he sits currently in P6. Travis Edwards in P7. Keegan Sobolo is all the way up to P8 already, up 4 spots from the back of the field. Greg Langford is in P9. Scott Correa rolls off our top 10. Hugh Escobar is in P11. He is out of the pits, as well as Fish taking up the rear of the field. All right, we are stacked up. It looks like we are ready to go racing. Brian Wright does not count off his gas pedal. And in fact, he's holding it for the front stretch. And he is off, boys. For now, he's got a pretty good lead there. And looked like we were going to go 3 wide there for a second, but we did not. Someone got a little loose there. Looked like it might have been Keegan. He is looking like he is going to be racy very soon here. He follows Travis onto the inside. Watch for Sean Patchen to have a look and try and follow Keegan through. Alright, Harry is holding down that top 5 spot, but Keegan is getting underneath him right now. Is Sean going to try and take a look with him? He did not make it through in that corner. And Todd is hung out to dry on the outside as usual. 3 spots down from his starting position. But Keegan is all the way up into P5 now. Hunting down P6, there is contact in the back. Sean is into the wall. I'm not seeing a yellow yet, but there we go. It is yellow. I'm telling you, man, one day we will have a flag indicator on this channel. We just don't at the moment. Sean Patchen is waiting for the pits to open. Brian Wright is holding down the lead of this race with Scott T. Petrone right behind him in P2, soon to be next to him. Then we've got Eric Sellers in P3, up 5 spots from his starting position. Travis Edwards in P4, up 5 spots as well. Keegan Solo is in P5 from the back of the field. Harry is down 4 spots into P6 when he had that amazing starting spot. We got Todd Byer down 3 spots from 4th to 7th. Fish is in P8. Greg Langford is up 2 spots in P9. Hugh is exactly where he started in P10. Then we've got Scott Correa, and Sean Patchen is in the pits. Alright, Sean is on his out lap. 8 seconds behind the field. Alright. Believe that everyone's going to start stacking up here. All right, the pace car is pulling off. The field is in the hands of Brian Wright. Scotty Petrone right next to him.
Green flag, green flag.
And we are racing, boys. So it appears that we have lost our race volume somehow. No, we're still good. Alright, sorry about that little bit of a audio snafu, or just on the monitor end, I guess. Hopefully you guys didn't have any interruption on your side. Scotty Petrone has taken over the lead of this race. Brian Wright is on the outside, still holding on the best he can. We got Keegan up in, he's pushing into P2 now, and that looks like a done deal. Looks like he's going to be past Brian Wright. Ooh, we are 3 wide. Eric Sellers on the outside, backs off kindly. Looks like we got out of that without any contact. That was some good evasive moves there. All right, we are getting racy, though. The camera is wanting to follow Fish here. They are dicing it up in that top 5. Keegan Silvelo has made a pass for the lead. He is comfortably in there. Scotty Petrone's on the outside with Brian Wright on the inside. Followed closely by Eric Sellers, up 4 spots from 8th place. We got our teammates trying to give themselves a little bit of a bump. Seems to be confusion over our drivers' biological fathers in the Discord. Alrighty, we are going 2 by 2. Travis Edwards on the inside, Scotty Petrone on the outside, battling it out for 4th and 5th. And Fish is not going to let this one sit. He's going to try and peek at... it looked like he was going to peek on the inside of Travis. And here comes Todd, though. Travis getting a little bit loose. All right, boys. There's battles all over this track. Eric Sellers is hunting down Brian Wright. We've got Travis Edwards hunting down Scotty Petrone. Todd Byer is hunting down Fish. Pretty much got 2 by 2s here. All right, this front pack is looking like it's closing up together, though. We're looking at like 5/10 between all 5 of them. And Sellers swaps down to the inside. Travis gives everyone the world worth of room on the outside. And it looks like Sellers is going to move up into P2. Brian Wright's going to hold that outside. He looks like he might be able to hold on to it. Well, let's go, Brian. Scotty Petrone is still trying to hang on, but Travis is gently forcing the issue. Meanwhile, he is left to hang on the outside like his teammate normally is, and he is crying about it because no one wants to hang out on the high line. Luckily for him, his teammate is pulling up behind him. I'm sure they will work together. And Sellers thought about making a move on the Tropical Banana Ken car of Brian Wright. And there goes that move. Can Scotty Petrone follow through? No, Brian Wright's fighting it back. He's got the momentum on the outside. We go 2x2. P2 to P4. This is some great racing, boys. Giving each other plenty of room and going 2x2 through the corners, though they are letting Keegan Sobolo run away with this win. And here comes Todd creeping into the picture. We have P2 through 6. All right, Brian Wright looks to be fading a little bit on that outside line, but he's done that quite a few times where he just fights it back. So as it shakes out so far, we've got Keegan Sobolo running away with a 1-second lead. And then we got Scotty Petrone in P2, Travis Edwards in P3, Eric Sellers in P4. Todd Byer just took P5 away from Brian Wright, but I expect that to swap back and forth quite a few times. Fish is holding down P7 pretty comfortably with almost a half second back between him and Greg Langford. Then we've got Sean Patchen pulling up in P9, Hugh Escobar in P10, Scott Correa in P11, and Harry in P12. We have 9 laps to go, boys. And let's see if these boys can work together to hunt down Keegan Sobolo. Looking still like a 1-second gap at the moment. And Brian Wright Shifts to the outside. Looks like he was trying to make a move. We have 5 laps left, boys. All right, so off camera, it looks like we have a pretty damn close race between Sean Patchen and Hugh Escobar for P9 and 10. And it looks like Hugh has made that move done, but there is still nothing between. And now it looks like he's gapped Sean just a touch. Again, we are just reading off of a pretty unreliable tracker, so who knows? We have 2 laps left at North Wilkesboro, boys. We'll look for things to get a little bit dicey. And Todd pretty much just gave that position to Sellers. And can Brian Wright take another one from him? It's looking possible. Todd hung himself again. And we are on the last lap. Can Brian hold it off and take that position away? Yeah, I believe that the Tropical Banana Ken car of Brian Wright managed to take that 5th place away from Todd. So we got Keegan Sobel, Scott T. Petrone, and Eric Sellers with our top 3. Travis Edwards in P4, Brian Wright in P5, Todd Byer in P6, and now our tracker is going all bonkers because everyone's doing crazy shit out on the track. But I believe Fish came after him, followed by Greg, and then Sean and Hugh, I believe. But I'm just taking guesses at this point. All right, boys, we will check back in with you shortly. I'm going to drop into Discord, say hello to our drivers, and then we will see some of them up in the radio booth. All right, Eric, how are we doing today? Oh, I got Keegan. Hold on. We're going to send you back down there, Keegan. I'm going to go from P3 to P1. All right, Eric. P3 at North Wilkesboro. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, that was a fun one. We got in a lot of green flag there. That was a blast. Me, Scott, Travis, Todd, Brian, all of us there battling, and I think Keegan was just on cruise control, but that was a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of let him run away by battling so hard back there, but it was worth it from my perspective, man. That was a great race.
Yeah. Hopefully it looked good there on the broadcast. It definitely was fun in the car.
Yeah, watching you come through the field and then a little bad luck and then come back through the field was pretty awesome, man.
Appreciate it. That was a good one.
Right on, Eric. Well, we will see you next week. I'm sure I will have you in the broadcast booth again soon.
All right, man. Appreciate you doing those.
Hell yeah, boss. We'll see you then. Scott T. Petrone in P2. How was that one, boss?
Well, Ray, that was a lot of fun, man. So much fun battling, a lot of back and forth. I had some great battles with my buddy Brian and swapped second place like 4 or 5 times. But unfortunately, I let Keegan get away. And once I got cleared, I couldn't catch Keegan. I was trying everything I could to get up there, and I just didn't have enough.
And it was fun to watch, though. It was pretty easy to forget that you weren't in P1 if you were watching the broadcast.
Keegan had that much of a lead on us, huh?
It was about a second. Once he got away and you guys were just busy battling, he pulled about a second on you guys. But like I said to Eric, I mean, that was all on you guys for fighting so hard, and it made the race awesome to watch.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't just, lay in there and be complacent and just let things happen. You got to go for the lead, and you got to get the next spot. So that's what this kind of racing's all about.
It was great to watch you boys.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Glad we could put on a good show for you tonight.
Hell yeah, Scott. You have a good night. We will see you next week.
Sounds good, buddy. Thank you for what you do. We'll see you next week.
And we have Keegan Sobolo, our Round 10, Season 7, North Wilkesboro winner. How was that one, Keegan?
Pretty good. That was a fun race tonight. Coming from 12th to 1st, that was a good time.
Yeah, from the back to the front, bro.
Yeah, no, it was fun. We had a couple of yellows early on and just kind of had to navigate traffic as best as possible. That first lap was pretty chaotic with the cold tires, but once we were able to kind of get in a rhythm and kind of just pick them off, one corner, one lap at a time, and was fortunate enough to find ourselves up, get in the next spot to take the lead, got it, and with everybody racing behind, we were able to kind of break the draft and pull away. But definitely worked out in our favor. It was a lot of fun tonight.
Hell yeah, boss. Anything else before we go?
Yeah, no, I just appreciate all the people that support me and my sponsors, Mac Tools, Ivan Box, Washer Games, everybody that helps makes my success possible. Thank you guys for putting on the league and the broadcast, and just thank you to everybody who tunes in. Encourage everybody to keep tuning in, and looking forward to seeing what we got coming up in the future.
Hell yeah, boss. Thank you. Dominating tonight's race, a second ahead of the field. We got Keegan Sobolo. We will see you guys next week at Keegan. Where are we next week?
I couldn't tell you.
All right, that's 2 of us that don't know. Well, we'll see you next week. The stream will be in the same place, so no one will have to look for that. Have a good one, boys. This has been Bet Productions, Round 10, Season 7, Apollo Events Legends Series.